Welcome to Court Helicopter Explainer, where we are dealing with the question of the Tuju saga. Tuju's matter started in UK. It came to the Kenyan courts. The last stage, Tuju went to the Supreme Court, hoping he'll be heard, but the judges recused themselves. What is recusal? What are the reasons for judges to recuse themselves? Easy. That is found in the Judicial Code of Conduct. That is the law that deals with recusals. In that law, recusal means a judge refuses to proceed with this matter. A judge says, yes, I have this file, but myself, I disqualify myself. Has it happened in these matters? Yes. In the Raila Odinga versus Uhuru Kenyatta petition at the Supreme Court, the judges of the Supreme Court, including the Chief Justice, Dr. Willie Mutunga, recused themselves. It's the second time when Ahmed Nasir, senior counsel, appeared before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court judges, when it was a case against the JSC, the Supreme Court judges recused themselves. We have also seen Tuju, the Supreme Court, recuse itself. In the battle between the law firm of senior counsel Ahmed Nasir and his advocates, when the Supreme Court said the law firm of Ahmed Nasir will not come and appear before the Supreme Court, when Ahmed Nasir appeared in a matter, they recused themselves. We have seen in very many cases, judges of the High Court recuse themselves. So this question of recusal, what is it that the judges will look at for them to recuse themselves? Section 21 of the Judicial Code of Conduct says that 1. A judge may recuse himself or herself if in any proceedings in which his or her impartiality might reasonably be questioned, where the judge, 1, is a party to the proceedings. For example, if a judge has been sued, is a party, he's a respondent, he's a plaintiff, he's a defendant, he is an interested party, the judge must recuse himself. Number 2, if the judge was or is a material witness in the matter in controversy, if the judge is likely to be called as a witness. For example, the judge saw an accident happen on the road, he is going to give evidence. The judge saw somebody murder somebody, he is likely to be a witness. If that is the reason, the judge will have to recuse himself. 3rd, if the judge has personal knowledge of disputed evidentiary facts concerning the proceedings, for example, the judge is already aware of the evidence. For example, he's a member of the family and he knows what evidence is likely to be. Or at one time, as a judge, he had knowledge of those facts, the judge will recuse himself. D, if the judge has actual bias or prejudice concerning a party. For example, this is a judge who seduced a lady, they were boyfriend and girlfriend, all of a sudden they differed and left. The judge has no feelings, he hates that lady. The judge cannot proceed with that matter because he has a bias, he has a prejudice already ahead of it. E, if the judge has a personal interest or is in a relationship with a person who has a personal interest in the outcome of the matter. If the judge knows this person personally, either they go to the clubs together, they go to dancing together, they have a personal relationship. Their kids go to the same school and during Parents' Day they meet. So the judge must recuse himself. F. If the judge had previously acted as counsel for a party in the same matter, all judges are advocates. Before one becomes a judge, before one becomes a magistrate, you are supposed to be an advocate. So if you acted, represented one of the parties, if the judge was an advocate for this party, he cannot become now, he cannot take up the matter. So if at one time the judge was your advocate and you appear before the judge will recuse himself. G. If the judge is precluded from hearing the matter on account of any other sufficient reason, there might be very many other sufficient reasons that will make the judge not be in this matter. Then lastly, if a judge is a member of the judge's family, or a member of the judge's family has economic or other interests in the outcome of the matter in question. So if a party, one of the members of that party, the group in court, has business interests with the judge or the judge's family, the judge is required to recuse themselves. Number 2, what does it portend? Recusal by a judge shall be based on specific grounds to be recorded in writing as part of the proceedings. Whenever an application for a judge to recuse or a magistrate to recuse themselves, the judge must take proceedings, record whatever the advocate is saying or whatever the party is saying, and the judge makes a decision. So the recusal application must be recorded, the decision must be recorded in the proceedings. 3, a judge may not recuse himself or herself. The court says it is not just easy to recuse yourself. Judges are not supposed to recuse themselves if the following 3 grounds are there. 1, if there is no other judge can deal with the case. For example, there is only one judge in Garissa. There's only one judge in Bungoma. If he recuses himself, then there's nobody to deal with this matter. The law demands that the judge must proceed with that matter. So the question that arises, when the Supreme Court then recuses itself, where will Tuju go? Tuju will not go to the East African Court of Justice. Tuju will not go, Nasir will not go to any court, because that is the apex court. So from court helicopter, it is a serious indictment that Supreme Court judges recusing themselves is wrong. Because the law says, if a judge recuses himself and there is no any other judge going to hear that matter, where will that party go? This is a barb from court helicopter. The judges of the Supreme Court failed the test. They failed Tuju. They could have listened to Tuju, because right now Tuju has gone to the Court of Appeal. Tuju has gone to the High Court. The only available place for Tuju to get justice is the Supreme Court of Kenya. Imagine this scenario. All presidential election petitions that are contesting the elections of the president are only to be heard in the Supreme Court. Suppose the Supreme Court recuses itself. What will happen in this country? Suppose there are 7 judges at the Supreme Court. The quorum is 5. If we have 4 judges recusing themselves, what will happen? Tuju, even if he has case or no case, Tuju deserved to be heard. Tuju deserved justice. Tuju pays taxes. Tuju did not deserve that. And out of this, this is a ground for removal of the judges of the Supreme Court. And I'm definite that if Tuju is following court helicopter proceedings, Tuju should file a petition to JSC for the removal of the judges who refused to hear him because they contravened this law. 2, because of another reason why the judges should not recuse themselves is because of any urgent circumstances of failure to act could lead to a serious miscarriage of justice. Tuju's property is being sold. The judges have refused to listen to Tuju. Tuju has nowhere to go. This is a gross miscarriage of justice. And therefore, Tuju and people should petition to the JSC for the removal of the judges of the Supreme Court, including the Chief Justice, because the Chief Justice is the President of the Supreme Court. On this, court helicopter and Wakili Omari sides with Tuju that Tuju was mistreated, Tuju was not given justice. Was that a fair administrative action by the judges to walk away? No. Tuju has nowhere to go to. He can't go to Njuri Njeke. He can't go to the Kaya group. He can't go to Pastor Ezekiel. He can't go to Pastor Apostle Nganga. Where is Tuju going to go? The temple of justice ran away from Tuju when Tuju wanted justice to be dispensed for him. On this matter, I totally agree with Tuju. Lastly, a judge cannot recuse himself or herself if the merits of the application for recusal have been considered by a plural bench of judges and recusal held to be unnecessary. If they listened, what does this say? There are 7 judges of the Supreme Court. They were to listen the application for recusal. Tuju, out of 7, probably 2 could have recused themselves. The majority could have said, we are ready to proceed. And therefore, if the decision of the majority says we are ready to proceed, Tuju could have justice. From court helicopter, Kenyans, you now know, the Supreme Court failed Tuju. The Supreme Court has not only failed Tuju, the Supreme Court has failed very many people in this country when they recuse themselves. You now know, court helicopter always brings you this. People have told Vivian, no, Omari is Kosi. Where does he get this law? This is the Judicial Service, into brackets, Code of Conduct and Ethics Regulations, Legal Notice number 102 of 2020. The Supreme Court failed on this matter, and therefore it is a barb from court helicopter and Wakili Dan Saramari. Thank you and keep watching from court helicopter.